going to move into our next segment, and our next segment is wins and biggest challenges. Wins and biggest challenges. So I know that we've talked about that, and so Rosanna, did you have a win or biggest challenge you'd like to share?
Well, I have been doing something that's very helpful to me, and I think that it might be helpful to others, and it's kind of a win for me. And that's taking my day and consolidating it down to 100 words. And I've been actually sending out an email to others about what, the 100 words that make sense to me for the day. And so I think that's been very helpful to me to just focus and consider my day, my words, how I say these things, how dramatic am I. And so I think it's very helpful to me. So I would say that's a biggest challenge, or biggest win for me.
So when you say the 100 words, is that something that is kind of a cap to your day? You do it at the end of the day, you do it in the evening, you do it in the afternoon. When do you do that?
I've been doing it both. Sometimes in the morning I learn a lesson, and so I think I want to put it down right away, and so I do it right away, and I make 100 words out of it. And then sometimes it takes me all day to figure something out, and by the end of the day I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense, and so then I use that. So it depends.
Excellent. Is that something that anyone can do, or do you need special training for that, or what?
Anyone can do it, and then you can actually help other people in the process by sending it to them and giving them an encouragement, or maybe they want to do it. So it's actually been starting like a snowball. Yeah.
Right. So you're encouraging them to do that, and then do you do just like once a week, a couple times a week? How often do you do this?
Every day.
Every day. And how long have you been doing this?
I'm on 44 days right now.
44 consecutive days of 100 words?
Yeah.
And then how long do you plan on going?
If I hit the 100 days, I might actually consider going further than that. So it's just a matter of my thought process and I guess where it leads me.
Okay. Wow, that's a pretty cool commitment. What drove you to making that commitment?
Seeing how I am not concise in how I speak and how I work with others, and then watching other people grow as they're doing it.
Huh. Interesting. So in the 44 days that you've been doing that, have you been able to communicate clearer or better or more concisely?
I feel so. I'm not sure. I mean, to me, it seems to be helping me to grow. It also helps me to read back over what I wrote and apply it.
Wow, that's cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. Good. Are there any other wins or biggest challenges?
Yeah, Kevin, it's Cheryl.
Yeah,
I'm actually doing the same thing.
Oh.
I'm doing a 100-word journal.
Okay.
I do it every morning as a reflection of the day before. And I've never looked back at my day before. I'm not one that sets goals or, plans a whole lot. So it's been interesting for me to look back at the previous day to see what I actually went through and what my feelings were. So I'm going to do it for actually 365 days.
Wow. For a full year consecutively?
Consecutively.
Wow. And what are you hoping to accomplish by doing that 100 words?
I have a brand new granddaughter, and she's 2 months old, and I want to give her sort of legacy to show her what she can do and how she can start her life out in a way that gets her reflection to be different than anybody else out there her age.
Interesting. So when do you plan on sharing that with her?
when she's old enough, I haven't figured that out yet, as she's only 2 months old. But I want to know, I want to leave her some kind of legacy, something to join us together. Who knows? I may even, do it with her to, get her on the same page as me.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, what would happen if you just started to read these to her?
I've thought of that too.
Months. Okay. Interesting. And what day are you on with your 100 words?
I'm on day 65.
Day 65. What have you learned in 65 days that you'd like to share with the group that you think could help them in fine-tuning their systems, and as you continue to use this as a tool to sharpen yourself?
Well, for me, like I said earlier, it's for me to fine-tune, to actually look at my day, whereas I wasn't looking at it before. So for me to give retrospect in what I did the previous day and to change the next day, and, just use what I'm learning. I wrote one day, I'm not overwhelmed, over and over and over again to get to the 100 words, because I was trying to, tell myself, you're not overwhelmed, you've got opportunities to try and change, my attitude. So it's just little things.
But it sounds like a big thing, because did you feel overwhelmed before you wrote the "I am not overwhelmed" to get your 100 words?
Oh yeah, I'm significantly overwhelmed right now.
So do you think that reflecting on the past day and writing the 100 words, you're not only less overwhelmed, but besides, which is really cool. Not that isn't a wonderful thing, because I think a lot of people stress about that. They can have a system, but in order to fine-tune it, they may feel like they're overwhelmed and trying to even make that happen, right?
Right.
But what have you been finding, and maybe one thing can you share with the group, people that are listening, that you found in the 65 days by reflecting on the day before that have helped you? What are you starting to see?
What I'm seeing is that I don't have processes in place to fine-tune my system so that I'm not overwhelmed, so that I stay not overwhelmed. I don't have processes, so I'm learning that.
So you're learning to put processes in place so you don't feel overwhelmed, and you have a system that's not only a system, but a profitable system.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. Mark, do you have a win or biggest challenge you'd like to share?
Well, this year, Kevin, is an exciting year for me.
Yeah?
I have decided to make this year the year of drama.
Why is that, Mark?
If you can't beat them, you got to join them.
Well, that's interesting. So what do you mean? If you can't beat them, join them.
Drama just absolutely drives me insane.
Really?
It just sucks it's like a black hole. It just sucks the energy right out of me.
Interesting.
So I found in coaching the most difficult, the hardest coaching to be under is counterintuitive coaching, which is doing the opposite of what one knows is going to work. And so it makes no sense that if you hate drama, it sucks the very life out of you, that you would embrace that and run towards that pain rather than away from it.
And what are you discovering?
Oh, it's like a whole world. It's like, I'm not just going to do it this year. I'm going to do it the rest of my life. I mean, Kevin, do you realize how cool it is being the center of attention?
Probably
Probably
not.
not. Yeah.
I
No,
so,
you could join me on this journey. Like,
okay.
there's more and more people because I'm the center of attention. Like, I don't have to worry about anybody else's anything. My issues are always the biggest issues. My stories are always the best stories. I am the center of the universe. The attention that I now get is just, it's amazing. It's a great place to be.
Interesting.
I'm also
You're saying before you were a can I say drama king?
sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before you were a drama king, it was sucking the life out of you. It felt like a black hole, and it was extremely frustrating. And yet now you've decided to be that, and now you've entered a whole new world where you're the center of attention. And suddenly people are actually they must seem a little shocked because it sounds like a 180.
Well, I'm going around like when my girls are around.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, "Oh my gracious, it's snowing outside!" Like everywhere, like there's snowdrops, and I'm like, "Wow!" Like it's also living in the moment. Like everything is something spectacular. Like it's like I don't have to worry about any of the pain of the past. I don't have to think about anything in the future. Like this one moment, like the snow, or the car, or the door, or you know the piece of paper that's on the floor. Like anything can be dramatic. Anything can be exciting. It's just like, I mean, it's like it's so, like it's almost like a drug. It's almost
really?
like yes, and then I don't have to worry about anything significant. Like everything's significant, like everything.
But how are people treating you? You say people are treating you.
That's the beauty. See, that's the beauty of it, Kevin. You don't have to, if you're a drunk, you don't have to worry about how people treat you. Because you're the center of the universe, and if somebody doesn't treat you well, just pump that drama up like crazy, and then you can hold them hostage because you make a scene, and what they'll learn is treat Mark nicely, because if you don't, he's going to create a lot of drama about it. So what you do is you leverage and manipulate everything to your will and your desire. Oh, it's a beautiful place to be.
Wow. That's interesting. Well, thanks for sharing, Mark.
Yes, I have to be careful because if I'm not careful, I can. There's so much drama. I could go ahead and take over. Like this whole event could be drawn into my black hole of drama. We'd never get to segment 2 or 3 and 4 and 5. It'd all be about the drama, all be about me. So I'm trying like crazy, Kevin, to contain it, but it's hard.
Mark, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you doing that.